Hello everyone, welcome to AI Anytime channel. In this video, we are going to see how we can use a no-code platform called Dify AI with Ollama. Earlier, I have a video where I've shown how you can use Dify AI, and Gen AI innovation engine, a completely, a low-code, no-code platform where you can build Gen AI applications faster. And in that video, I have shown with closed source models where you need an API key. For example, if you want to use models like GPT-4o, Omni, Claude models, Gemini models, Grok models, so on and so forth. So you need an API key over there to use that. But you know, most of the time you would not use these APIs. You want to use something which is open source where you can self-host it, where you can control everything, mainly from a data confidentiality standpoint, right? Because your data is confidential and you would not like to send that data to a third party company, for example, here the LLM providers. So how we can use Ollama, a tool that basically helps you inference or run large language models locally in your machine. You will be able to follow this video even on a 8 GB CPU machine as well. Okay, so we're gonna set up DeFi and we're gonna also use Ollama, any of the new models like Llama 3.2 3B model. Okay, and we're gonna use it and see if we are able to set this up and ask some queries or do some tasks for us. So let's jump in and see how we can do that. Now, if you look at here on my screen, I am on Ollama website. If you don't know Ollama, as I said, get up and running with LLMs. That's what they have written over here on the website, and you can just download. It's like pretty easy to work with. Okay, you can download this on any one of the operating system. So if you are on Mac OS, if you are on Linux, or if you are on Windows, you will be able to use that. Okay. Now I am already on Windows and I have already installed it, so I'm not gonna do it again. But if you are here, click on this and just double click and install. How can you find out if Ollama is running? You see this icon over here. It says Ollama, right? Ollama is running. Okay. Now, if you want to find out a bit more, let me open my terminal. Okay, so if you look at here, I'm opening my terminal and you can use command like Ollama list to find out if there are any models available. You can see I have a lot of models available. Llama 3.23b, Elijah, which is a Japanese model, 8B Nomic embedding. I have an embedding model, Llama 3.1, 5.3, and Llama 3. I have these models that I mainly work with in day-to-day life, for different tasks that I execute through these LLMs. Now, how you can use this? You have to, for example, you just have to write Ollama and then run and the model name. If you want to download a model, you have to do Ollama pull and the model name. Okay, so you use pull command to do that. Now here I'm gonna show you, for example, Llama 3.2 and 3B, and after a few seconds, it will show you where it will say send a message. So basically, you can ask your query. So for example, you want to write what is AI, or let me say tell me a joke, tell me a joke, right? So when I say tell me a joke, it says here is one. What do you call a fake noodle? An impasta. Okay. So you can see basically you can just ask a lot of questions over here, right? Now, Ollama is also available through APIs. You can use localhost and it's available on 11.4.3.4. You can see it says Ollama is running. So you can use Ollama through LangChain, Llama Index, or even in basic Python through request module. Okay, if you want to do that, it's available on port 11.4.3.4, right? 11,434. That's the port it runs on, right? Now, that's on Ollama. Let me cover a bit about DeFi. I have a couple of videos on DeFi already on my channel. Innovation engine for Gen AI applications. It's an open source development platform. That's what I like about it. If you look at other platforms like Gumloop, for example, or Make.com, they are making money, for example. They are not open source. Okay, so nothing against them, by the way, but I love open source, right? So DeFi and Flowise also is very good. Okay, you can use that open source. You can basically use Node to basically install that and build solutions on top of it and deploy it. But not the case with Gumloop and Make.com or any other platform. So DeFi is one of my preferred choice. I recommend you use DeFi and also Flowise if needed. So You can see it over here. If you click on GitHub, it takes you to the GitHub page. Over here it says Dify is an open source LLM app development platform, intuitive interface that you can basically use Dify to build RAG pipelines, AI agent workflows, automation, so on and so forth, right? Now, Dify, you can also, let me show you how you can bring it up here. So if you just have to do git clone, and you can see I already have cloned it, but anyway, I'll just show you once. Let me show you once. So if you're gonna write github.com langgenius, you know, dot defi dot git. When I do this, it will say this already exists. So I already have cloned this repository. So if it already exists, let's just do cd inside it, right? So that's what I'm gonna do here. So I'm gonna say, defi and docker, and I'm just gonna open this in VS Code. So let me just open this in VS Code. Now, if you look at this, this is how the Docker Compose file looks like. Okay, of this is how the folder looks like when you bring up Dify. Make sure I missed one this step, but I'll show you. Once you are cloning it for the first time, you will find out something called .env.example, as GitHub does not, it's not a good practice. I will not say GitHub does not support pushing env files. It does it, but then the best practice is to do like .env.example or through config.py or whatever, and then replace that when you are working locally or when you are deploying it somewhere in a secret manager or a credentials manager. But what you have to do it over here, you have to do cp. Cp means that you're going to copy that, right? The same file, to a different file name. So you can see I have done cp.env.example and then .env, and that's why these and that's why this is available over here. You can see env. So if you click on env, you can find out all the env thingy. And you can, whatever, if you want to do it here, you can bring up. So for example, if you want to use v8, you can see it over here. You can make changes for a v8. Chroma is here, Oracle is here, Nginx is here, and you have a lot of things over here. To be honest, you have open search, uh, blah blah blah. Okay, so if you want to work with any service, you can select. I am more interested in Docker Compose. If you don't know Docker, Docker is a container technology. I have a lot of videos on Docker. I'll recommend you watch that. Basically, you know, makes your life easier when you are developing software, when you use Docker like a container technology. It basically eliminate the dependencies conflict from your software development life cycle. And there are a lot of other benefits, by the way. Okay. Now, this is what we are using as a Docker Compose file. Now, what you have to do, guys, here, come here, in that, and then you just have to do docker compose, or you can just up, and when you do hyphen d means that it's gonna run that in a detached mode, so in background, right? So it will not block your terminal for other work. And if you do that, it's going to take a bit of time. You can see it says if you're running it for the first time, it's going to take a lot of time because it has to pull a lot of images, from somewhere like Docker official repository or GitHub registry or AWS registry. They have Elastic Container Registry. Azure has Azure Container Registry. GCP has GCR or something, right? So it basically pulls up from different sources depending on how DeFi team has configured it, in the back end. So it's going to pull all of these information, and we have to wait for it. So let me pause the video and come back once this is done. All right. Now you can see we have, basically downloaded everything over here. So if you see, let me go a bit up, and you can find out all the containers are now running. It says running 11 out of 11 created and running, attaching to API1, DB1, Nginx1, Redis1, Sandbox1, SSRF proxy, Web8, Vector database, Web1, Worker1, right? Now, you can build anything you want. I'm going to talk about it in a bit, but if you look at here, all the logs, every processes that has been started, database is ready, your everything that you need to basically do it. And you just have to do localhost and apps. I already have an account, administrative account, with my personal Gmail address. If you're coming it here on the first time, you need to basically create an administrative account or an admin account to deal with DeFi. Now, this is how the interface looks like, right? You have on top Explore Studio Knowledge Tools. Here we have something called Create from Blank, Create from Template, and Import DSL file. Now, import DSL file is nothing but, for example, if you build a workflow, if you build an app on DeFi, then you can also save that as a file that's called DSL file, and you can later share that with your friends or colleagues, and they can use the same. Basically, they don't have to reinvent the wheel. They can just, import that file and execute it, right? Now, what I'm going to show you here is, here we can have something called settings. In the settings, you have something called model provider. Now, in the model provider, you can set up your LLMs. So if you want to go with closed source thingy, you can go with closed source. Like for example, OpenAI, Anthropic, Azure. You have to basically give an API key, and you can find out we have something called Ollama, and we are interested in Ollama because we want to self-host it. And you can see Ollama is running over here, right? It says Ollama is running on this particular port, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring up Ollama. So add a model. So let's click on Ollama add model. Now when you see this, so two things you can do. You can either, add an LLM, or you can add a text embedding model like Nomic that Ollama supports. Now in the model name, you have to be a bit careful and attentive over here. Otherwise, you get a lot of errors, sometimes, right? So here I have taken a note and I'll just show you, okay? And you should be a bit careful about only these two things. And I'm going to talk about it, why they're important. Now in base URL, these URLs are nothing but your, uh, where you are running the Ollama. But if you just do http localhost 11434, it will not work because right now you are hosting it through Docker internals. If you look at these, how we are running it, we are running it through Docker, right? We are not running it in some other ways, right? So you have to use host.docker.internal and then the port as a base URL. Don't do http localhost 11434. It might not connect. It will give you some error, right? And model name, you have to be again careful because model name should be the same name that Ollama shows you. So for example, if you come here and I'm going to show you Ollama list that I already have. Now, if you want to bring up Llama 3.23b, yeah, let me just copy this thingy here. Okay, you have to use the same name. Okay, make sure you are using the same name. Okay, as the model name. You are not using any like other names over here. Otherwise, that's what I have seen it. Otherwise, it gives error. And then you keep this chat is fine, this model context is fine, upper bound of for max token, these are all fine. It's not a vision support, it's a vision support model of course, but I'm gonna say no for now. Okay, and then be a bit be a bit attentive over here. Otherwise, this is the thing, if you pass this step, you'll be able to work with it. Otherwise, if you are getting some error, then you can also look at how to integrate with Ollama. So if you look at this documentation, you can also find out how to do it, right? Now come back and let's save it. Now once you save it, okay, you can see modified successfully. It here says modified successfully, on top. And now if you come on top, you can see a model. So you can see, if you click on show models, we have Llama 3.23b LLM chat 4K. So this is the model now that's showing, right? And you can see the model is active. You can also do some configuration. You can add other models as well. Let me just, cut this off, right? Now let's click on create from blank. Once you click on create from blank, you can find out different options: chatbot, text generator, agent, workflow. And if you look at text generator, it says build an application that generates high quality text based on prompts such as generating articles, summaries, translations, and more. I'll just give a name here called demo app. Okay, and here I'm gonna write demo of DeFi plus Ollama, and I'm just gonna click on create. Now once you click on create, right, you can see here we have, and let me just remove this thingy, by the way. Okay, if you look at this, what we have to do, studio demo app, we have here something called left hand side orchestrate, API access, logs, and monitoring. Now here we can see the model. If you look at the model, it says Llama 3.2. Now if you want to add other model, you can just go the same way, over here, and you can add it. Sometimes it might takes a bit of time, guys. It takes few seconds because then it has to load it from Ollama, right? So you should wait for it. Once it's load, then you can select that model. So you can see it over here, Llama 3.2, and you can find out the model over here, right? See, Llama 3.23b. That's the model we have loaded from Ollama. Now I'm gonna ask and here you have prefix prompt. You can set some prompt as well over here. You can do better prompt engineering, blah blah blah. You can make the query as an optional parameter. I'm gonna say what is AI or something. Okay, and then run it. Now once I do, you can see it says output text pretty fast as well. Took a second. Sometimes it's slow, depends on your internet speed. You know, uh, hanging a bit, but you can see that it's really fast. I can work with it. If you have, but I think this also does the, you can see how it is, if it comes to number of characters. It has given you 2000 plus characters so far. Over here you can add annotations, edit it, and what you can also do, you can also publish this app. So when you say, when you click on publish, let me just do an update first, published, and when you click on run app, it opens a new uh, here demo app. You can say generate a short blog post on deep learning or something like that, right? And we're going to say execute, and you can find your, so you can build RAG pipelines. You can also use build AI agent and do all of those things because it's using it under the hood, right? And if you go on top, you just leave it as a default vector database. Pipelines department, you can see it over here. Now let me go back now, and that you have to do it in knowledge. So if you go on knowledge, over here in the knowledge, you can create a knowledge base. You can see input from file sync. You can take a document. So for example, if you have to take a document, you can take a document from here. you know let's take what document we can take, guys. Gastro. No, I would have some documents. Let me see. I'll just show you how easy it is to basically work with it, right? Now you come here and then you have to bring up an embedding model, but I'll just show you how you can bring a document and those kind of things, right? So I'm going to use a PDF file over here. You can see the PDF. I'm going to do next, and then you can see the preview, automatic set chunk and pre-process. You can also customize the chunk size. You can see maximum chunk length. I'm going to do it 1000, and then chunk overlap. I'm going to keep it 250. Okay, and confirm and preview. I don't know what's wrong, but okay, let me just do a reset. There's something wrong. I'm gonna keep automatic. Okay, it didn't work out. Then you have index mode, high quality. You have to pay for it. You need to set up an API key, blah blah blah. Let's keep it default. Go to document. You can see this is our document. So we have a kind of knowledge base. You can also test the retrieval. Please enter text list all symptoms or something like that, right? And when you click on testing, it basically gives you something if that's there. It might take a bit of time, guys, but this is how you can create knowledge bases as well. And if you go to studio, okay, let me go to settings once, permissions, economical, blah blah blah, retrieval testing. Again, you have to do it. The session is not there. Okay, fine. Now in studio, come back. So this you already see it. And this is how you can also embed into your site. So basically it gives you a code to embed. So basically it gives an iframe that you can use it in an HTML code, and you can just basically, you know, do it. You can see install Dify chatbot Chrome extension, chatbot URL, and you can see how easy it is to basically install, chatbot Chrome extension as well, right? That's fantastic over here. And on let me do one thing. So this is how you can run applications, GenAI applications using Dify and Ollama. Knowledge, you see how you have knowledge base. Now, if you go to let me go to Studio, create from blank. If you have a chatbot, right, you can just give a name called chatbot demo or something. Enter the blah blah blah. I'm gonna say create. Okay, instruction, and you can see you can give a context. Now here in the context, you can add this as a knowledge base, right? You can see the knowledge base has been added. You have citations and attributes. You can bring conversational remarkers like a follow-up questions. You can conversation remakers, I mean the default questions, by the way, excuse me. You can have a follow-up questions as well. You can ask follow-up questions, and these all looks nice, right? Now, here you can ask some questions, blah blah blah, and you can see the model over here, and you can select model llama 3.2 chat, and here you can write your prompt words here, variable, whatever, right? You can say you need to answer the user questions from the you need to ask the user questions from the from the given context and something like that. Okay. And you can add variables as much as you are as you want, right? And then you can just publish, update, publish, blah blah blah. You can see it's success, right? So this is how it is, guys. Fill the value in variable which will automatically replaced, right? And you can here ask uh maybe sort text, right? And make it optional as well. So this is how you can basically build it. You can also build RAG pipeline, you can run the app, see it over here, start chat, blah blah blah. Right now it will not work as expected. I'll show you. Happy to help you. It's pretty slow, guys. Okay, can you please send the because you're not passing the context credentials is not. Okay. I got it. So it's not, we have to pass that PI key. It's not taking it, but yeah, at least you got a bit of idea how you can do it, right? So you can basically watch my previous videos on how to set up these API keys, and I want to keep it very short. Maybe we can have a separate video for RAG chatbot, but so far you would have understood how you can set up DeFi with Ollama, how you can configure. You can configure it from here, by the way, just settings, model provider, and you can also add a new model. So for example, if you want to add a new text embedding model like Nomic, you can do it over here and then just save it, right? So you can also use it for RAG chatbot. And that's all for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you have any question, thoughts, or feedbacks, let me know in the comment box. You can also reach out to me through my social media channels. Right? If you like the content, please hit the like icon. If you haven't subscribed the channel yet, please do subscribe the channel, guys. That motivates me to create more such videos. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.